Part C texts are like that. They're really long, okay? And then the next thing that you think is, well, actually, it's like that, isn't it? What are these boxes? What am I drawing?
Paragraph.
Paragraphs.
Paragraphs.
Exactly, yeah. So they're paragraphs. So we've got the text, then we've got the paragraphs, okay? And then inside the paragraphs, we've got this. What are these?
Sentence.
Sentences, yeah. So a paragraph
Clauses.
might have this. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. So when I look at these sentences, the way I see it as sometimes you have multiple sections. You know, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you've just got one. But this is how I see that. Most of the sentences are like this. And then it goes down to just clauses.
Yeah.
Okay. So each one of these is a clause. Okay. And this is a sentence. So these are paras and these are sentences. So if you think about OET, the way it works is you get a question. Okay. And your question generally is about a paragraph, isn't it? Normally. I mean, the first one we're going to do today, the first paragraph of our reading part C has actually got 2 questions in 1 paragraph. But what you can probably do there is split the paragraph into 2 and focus it. But generally you get 1 question, 1 paragraph, generally. So that means you've got to understand that whole paragraph. And to understand that whole paragraph, you've got to understand everything that's in it. But let's assume, okay, that when we look at these ones, what we've got to understand is vocabulary, tense, and passive. I think that's pretty much what you've got to understand. When you read a clause, you've got to understand who's doing an action, when did it happen to them, or did they do it? And that's what's in a clause, in a sentence. So if I was to write a sentence, let's write, can I pop that down? Not allowing me to do it. Let me try here instead. Can I go? Oh, this really annoys me about these drawings, guys. You can't. Let's take it back up. Okay, I'll write this. I'll just say a sentence. Okay, so Japan has a lot of hospitals. Okay, well, you need to know what hospital means. You need to know what has means. You need to recognize the tense. It was an active sentence. The tense is the present. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing in these clauses. But then you might say something like, due to a recent lack of funding, Japan's hospital total has dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what you're seeing there is you're going to see some kind of a linker here, aren't you? That's what you're doing. Okay, here there will be linkers. Okay, so these things here, let's get a different color. These things are linkers or text tools. Okay, so some kind of a linker or a pronoun that starts a relative clause or a participle clause or something like that. And also another important thing is that we might see in between the sentences. Okay, we're also going to see this. Not all the time, but sometimes. Sometimes we have them. Yesterday was an example of the absence of a text tool. So if I said to you, I'm going to ask somebody now. Let me ask, let's go for Ramona. Are you there, Ramona?
Hello, yes.
Okay, so Ramona, I live by the seaside, and I have a fishing rod. I live by the seaside. I have a fishing rod. What do you know about me?
You live by the seaside and you have a fishing rod.
Don't you know anything else about me?
Fishing.
You like fishing?
Fishing.
Where? Where do I go fishing?
Sea.
In the sea.
By the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I travel far to go fishing?
No, because you live there. Close.
Okay, so did I tell you those things?
No, but you imply kind of.
I sort of imply,
I understand. Yeah.
because I put those two things together, it's up, your brain is so clever that it creates a narrative, doesn't it? It creates other ideas. You've got all of this experience about life. Sometimes we use a linker. So I could have said, I live by the sea, therefore I have a fishing rod. Okay, well, I'm saying I have a fishing rod because I live next to the sea. I could do that. Or I could just say, I live by the sea, I have a fishing rod. And then you put 2 and 2 together and you make 4. So sometimes we have a linker in between and sometimes we don't. Okay. And sometimes what happens is we get something like this. We get a meaning, an idea. It's kind of complex. Okay, because it's a combination of multiple ideas. Because this sentence before had 3 clauses in, 3 ideas, and then this one here has got 2. And you squeeze them all together, and then what happens is the question expects you to understand that. That's what happens in OET Reading Part C. You've got this massive text, then you've got these paragraphs, and then you've got these sentences with multiple clauses that are followed by other sentences. Sometimes they're linked. Sometimes something in this sentence here will refer back using a pronoun like they or this or something like that. And then OET will expect you to take those sentences, put them together, and recognize that they've paraphrased it in A, B, C, or D. They will also expect you to be able to say, okay, A is true, but B is false. Okay, so let's just say A was Paul likes fishing. There's one. And the other one might be something like, it's too expensive to fish. Well, you know that B's wrong, don't you? Because I haven't mentioned anything about fishing. Okay, what if C was Paul travels a long way? Well, you know that one's not true either.
Yeah.
Because it says Paul lives by the sea. He has a fishing rod. So you know that C can't be right. And what that means is you have to combine these sentences together and you have to say whether things are true or false.
Usual formal structure for these types of classes.
Okay, so here I am with Edwin. Hi, Edwin.
Hey, Paul.
Hi, nice to see you. Okay, so Edwin, you are an OET hero, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, super. So where do you live?